All right, everybody, welcome back. We're diving deep today into something that I think is super relevant to just about everyone listening, and that's salary negotiation,
Ooh, yeah.
especially, when you're first starting out at a new job.
Right.
And we've got some really interesting data here from a Pew Research Center survey. They talked to over 5,000 U.S. workers.
Wow.
And I got to tell you, some of this stuff, it's kind of surprising. For example, did you know that most people don't even try to negotiate a better starting salary?
Yeah, that's a big takeaway here.
In the data skies, we take our flight. Trends and numbers come to life. Colors and charts, they dance and play. Showing truth in a visual way. In GenderDecoded, we uncover truths and stories like no other. In the data waves we find the secret maps of humankind.
Okay, so first of all,
Yeah.
the big surprise here is that most workers,
Okay.
regardless of gender,
Uh-huh.
don't even negotiate for higher pay
Really?
when they're starting a new job.
Yeah.
It seems so counterintuitive, right?
Yeah, I would think.
You'd think everyone would want to try to get the best possible starting salary.
Right out the gate, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Especially in this economy.
Why aren't people doing it?
Yeah, what's the data say?
Well, the data shows that only about 3 in 10 workers actually try to negotiate a higher starting salary.
Okay, so that's 30%.
That's 30%.
Got it.
But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay.
Men are slightly more likely to negotiate than women.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're talking 32% of men
Uh-huh.
compared to 28% of women.
Okay, so not a huge
It's not a huge difference,
difference.
but it is a difference.
But it is a difference, and I think that's really important because even a small difference
Yeah.
can really balloon over time.
Exactly. And I think that's where we start to see
Yeah.
that snowball
Yeah.
effect of the
Okay.
gender pay gap.
It's like the beginning of a ripple effect.
Yeah.
And that ripple just gets bigger and bigger
It just keeps growing.
as women's careers progress.
Okay, so for the people who did negotiate,
Yeah.
what happened?
So the results are kind of a mixed bag.
Okay.
Only about 28%
Okay.
of those who negotiated got exactly what they asked for.
Okay, so about a quarter
Yeah.
got what they wanted.
Yeah. And then another 38%
Okay.
got a little bit more than the initial offer,
Okay.
but not their full request.
So they got something,
They got something.
but not everything.
Right, but then there's this whole other group,
Okay, tell me about them.
35%.
Wow.
Got absolutely nothing extra.
So over a third
I know, it's pretty wild.
of the people who even tried to negotiate,
Yep.
they came away with nothing.
Even after negotiating.
Wow.
And even within that group, women were more likely to walk away with nothing
Really?
at 38%.
Compared to men at...
31%.
So why even bother?
Right. It's discouraging.
It's totally discouraging.
Yeah. And, it makes sense why some people just wouldn't even try.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
I mean, the study does try to dig into,
Okay.
what are the reasons that people aren't negotiating?
Okay, good.
And a good chunk of them
Yeah.
said that they were content with the initial offer,
Okay.
which,
That's fair.
sometimes that's the case, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you get a great offer and you're like, I'm happy with this.
I'm happy. I'm good.
I'm good. I don't need to push it.
Yeah. What was that percentage?
39% said that.
Okay.
But then there's this other group
Yeah.
that said they just weren't comfortable asking for more.
Okay.
And that was 38%.
So almost the same amount as the people who were satisfied with the initial offer.
Exactly. And this is where I think things get really, really interesting.
Okay. I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Because that discomfort
Yeah.
is way more common among women.
Yeah. I mean, I feel
That
like,
makes sense, right?
yeah, there's all this societal pressure on women to be agreeable
Totally.
and,
Not rock the boat.
to not rock the boat,
Especially
when it comes to money.
Oh, yeah. Money is
Yeah.
such a taboo topic anyway.
Okay. So what does the data show?
Yeah, so 42% of women said they didn't negotiate because they were uncomfortable,
Okay.
compared to 33% of men.
Yeah. So that's a pretty significant difference.
It is.
Oh.
And it really shows how these, expectations that we have for women
Right.
can really affect them.
Even in a professional setting.
Yeah, absolutely.
So interesting.
And then there's like another layer to this discomfort thing,
Okay, tell me.
which is age.
Okay.
So younger workers,
Right.
like between 18 and 29,
Uh-huh.
are the most uncomfortable with salary negotiation.
Interesting.
46% of them said they didn't negotiate because they were uncomfortable.
Wow.
And then that discomfort kind of goes down as people get older
Okay.
until you get to the 65 and older group.
Uh,
And only 19% of them said they were uncomfortable.
wow. So that's a huge difference
Huge difference.
between the younger workers and the older workers.
Yeah. I mean, think about it. When
Yeah.
you're younger, you just have less experience with negotiation in general.
Right. You're just starting out.
Exactly. And you might be worried about, like,
Yeah.
what are the consequences going to be if I push too hard?
Especially.
Am I going to lose the job offer?
Yeah, especially in like today's job market.
Right.
Which is so competitive.
Totally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not just about knowing your worth.
Right.
It's about feeling empowered to actually ask for it.
Exactly.
Right, yeah.
And that's even more important for women and younger workers.
Who we've seen
Right.
face even more challenges when it comes to negotiation.
Totally.
So there's just food for thought for everyone listening, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like we've seen that even a small difference in negotiation rates
Right.
can contribute to the gender pay gap.
Huge.
So imagine if we could empower everyone
Yeah.
to negotiate confidently and effectively.
What would that look like?
Yeah, what would the world look like if everybody felt comfortable doing this?
What kind of resources could we put in place?
What kind of support systems do we need to make that happen?
To close the gap.
To close that gap and create a truly level playing field?
Yeah.
That's the question, isn't it?
Big question.
Big questions that we all need to be thinking about.
Absolutely.
All right, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks so much for joining us for this deep dive.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
This was a really interesting conversation, and I hope everybody listening got a lot out of it.
Me too.
And we'll see you next time.
See ya. Bye. Ah.